I never really got the motivation or balls to really do this video, as I don't really find myself to be a very good player. I do know certain essentials about the game, but then again, I don't know all the essentials. Plus, the game is pretty balanced the way it is, so I don't really see a reason to make a tier list. However, one day, a player known as CTEM decided to message me and asked if I could make a tier list, and after that I just kinda figured, yeah, why not? I do consider myself a pretty solid player now thanks to my recent playthings, and I think everyone just has their own interpretations of the game. So without further ado, I might as well stop the filler and get down into how I can organize the list. I might as well announce who I think is the weakest character in the game first, and that of which is Leo. For a lot of the game's lifespan, I've been trying to convince myself that he's not the worst character in the game, but like, thinking about the other low tiers here, and just looking at how he's played, it really just made me realize that this character is just not good compared to the rest of the cast. To give a quick overview, Leo is the mod in this game. However, with how he is balanced, you could simply just call him the Lucina, as not a lot of his tippers are very rewarding. Fuck, you can might as well just not care about the tippers, because even if you just get a hit from him no matter the spot, he just gets 30 at best, in a roster where everyone will just get 60. That's not bad enough, he's a big body character, so a lot of the top tiers are just able to dash attack at him, and he could probably die at 10. His recovery is pretty linear and leaves his head out to be spiked. So all in all, he's just a very weak character compared to everyone else. One of the cooler things about the meta of NASB is that a lot of the low tiers here used to be considered one of the best characters in the game at the early version of the game. Zim is one of those examples who used to be a very strong character, but as time goes on, the devs have nerfed him to be very lackluster. One of his most defining tools was his light nair, as it was disjointed and long range. But after Rocco came out, it's like a shell of its former self. Not only had its hitboxes been completely butchered, but all of his strongs have been completely wiped of their strengths, making it even harder to kill with him. It doesn't help either that Ghost setups are not as rewarding as they were back at launch, not even considering the weaknesses he already had, like him being light and his recovery being pretty weak. You're really just better off picking up other characters that have the same archetype as his, but hey, if you like the show, go ahead and pick him. If this character was in the tier list based on how good they are at being scrub killers, then they would definitely be top 3. But in this case, they are bottom 3. Other than the obvious fact that they are simply a tank character, meaning a big body, slow mobility, and a not so consistent way of getting out of pressure, their recovery is also pretty bad. The reason why they wouldn't be considered the worst character in the game, or, you know, even lower, is simply because of the fact that they can actually kill you if you're not careful. Whether it is by strong down tilt, throws, or just full on log setups. Not exactly a lot of representation, but they are pretty easy to pick up if you know how to press a few buttons or not. CTEM is in the same spot as Wimpy, but he is higher than them for a few good reasons. Some of them include his strongs, with his strong down there giving him one of the best edge guards in the game with his long hitbox and nasty angle, and his supper being really good at calling out dashes and jumps. With Shine, it complements blows throughout his combo game, and can actually turn into a lot of songs that can kill you at really early percents. The main problem with CTEM just mainly has to be a way to get in, as he really doesn't have a good way to apply pressure. Most of his lights are pretty easy to beat out, his recovery is pretty bad, and his ground mobility is pretty bad. CTEM is still a pretty cheesy ass character though. For quite a while, I thought he was the worst character in the game. I looked in the mirror one day, and I just realized, if he's the worst character in the game, how come he's doing so well? All things aside, he does have the same weaknesses that land him down in the low tier section. Basically big body, low speed, yada yada. The one thing that made me think that he was the worst was him being stubby. However, what did make me change my mind was a few factors. One of which is his combo damage. You get down throw and then you get a lot of up air strings, and you get like a 60. And depending on whether opponent DIs, they can just die at 60 to a sucker. Bomb dash net is also a very consistent way to kill confirm. And the worst part about it is that depending on where you hit it, it's just completely confirmed, even if you DI right. Although Patrick's command grabs don't work anymore, they do serve a niche type of use that can be useful in the situation. I've seen neutral special be used to turn the tides when you're edge guarding, and EX Hug Driver can just be so broken if your opponent just doesn't expect it. If there's a character that is this low with potential, it is definitely him. And he is pretty fun to play, even though he was better as a grappler. I can really feel the hot takes coming in at this certain part of the video. Throughout the game's lifespan, this character has evolved from straight ass to... I can call her a low tier, depending on your point of view, but in mine, I think she's a bit different in the form of her specials. Air downbeat is plus on block, neutral special is pretty strong and it has some pushback if you gray block it. Her recovery is a bit air, but it can definitely kill you if it's fully charged. Or it can definitely deal a ton of damage if you just casually approach her. However, she's still pretty low because, you know, she's a bit stubby, she's easy to combo, her recovery is easy to edge guard. But overall, you can win with her. There has been a whole video dedicated to how wacky this character is, so I won't go like high in depth with it. The most simplest way I could describe it is like Yoshimitsu if you were to put him in a platform fighter. Having a few moves that are far different from the rest of the roster that you need to master. One of them is his back air, which is by far one of the best aerials in the game, as it can literally carry you off to the blast zone at 0. Even just link up to each other to give you a free 80, they can always combo to certain moves if you're good enough with it. His combos are pretty good, his strongs are pretty good. He also has by far one of the best recoveries in the game, or if not the best, depending on your point of view. He's also floaty compared to the cast, so certain combos may not be as consistent as most characters' bread and butter. Why he's low is that he's pretty big, pretty slow. His recovery is also pretty predictable in some matchups, and being floaty could render you combo for 2, depending on the matchup of course, but even then, his spread is not really the greatest in the game. Hugh is pretty solid as a character, and he gets pretty fun as he is pretty technical in the game, so you can always pick him up. Lincoln is a pretty niche character, as he's really just a pocket for players like Do the Fig or Fu, but I think if he's optimized the right way, he could be the top of B tier. His air normals are disjointed with good frames, good at juggling people, and he also has some great concerns with his spin top setup. I'm still putting him here simply because he's pretty light, and he's not really good at killing, so he mainly relies on edge guarding. He also has the worst recovery in the game, but even with all those flaws, I still think that he could be optimized to be better. Oh my god, this character is very annoying. Like flying a wasp that's just so attractive to you, even though you tell her to fuck off. But that is simply because of how threatening she is with her combos and how much reward you get from each of her stances. Whether it is from confirmability of her coffin or just having more speed, she can be tough to go up against. Reason why she's not higher, however, is that she lacks range in neutral and she is pretty light. Could even be one of the lightest characters in the game depending on what stance you have. Actually, a lot of her stances have some pretty tough trade-offs that make her harder compared to the cast, but she is still a pretty good character. After all, Fig is pretty good with her. He was the most busted character when he came out, and thanks to Tekken, he is the most toxic. Shredder is a contender for having one of the best boxing in the game, thanks to his nair alone. Recovery can be hard to edgeguard, and if you fully charge down B, then you can kill very early with his strongs. But are pretty disjointed for most of the part. If you consider offense to be the best defense, then he is definitely the character. I'm just saying that because his defense is ass. Being very big, his recovery is still pretty punishable if you time it right. And not to mention he is pretty punishable on shield. Some move requiring pretty good spacing for them to be safe, but aside from that, go pick him up. If this was a tier list based on how brain dead this character is, he would definitely be top 1. I think he would be underrated because of how easy it is to kill with him, but after some time thinking, I just feel like that he's one of those matchup check characters. Don't get me wrong, they have some of the easiest kill confirms in the game with light up tilt and light dash attack, and probably some other moves too that I'm forgetting. You can really win the game by spamming certain strongs too, like snare and supper, but at the end of the day, they really struggle with their matchup spread, as their disadvantage can get pretty bad. They have one of the worst recoveries in the game, and if you could block some of their strongs, you could get a big fat punish from them. They are still pretty stupid though, FYI. My Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl main. Yes, I am overemphasizing it, and now I don't care. For so long, I have slandered this character for how bad he was on paper. Slow frames, bad mobility, and you know, bad disadvantage. But fortunately, I, alongside the meta, have changed to see him more favorable. Aside from patches helping him combo better, and of course buffing his strengths, the thing that makes him better than the rest is really down. Super armor at the correct frames, doing long amounts of damage if you tech chase, and it has a long amount of range if you hold it in. Car really has one of the best tech chases in the game, in my opinion. Coincides with the fact that he's heavy, and his normals being nice and large. Kill off of a straight hit if you're not careful too. This may be biased, but whatever. I just hope this character comes back the way he is in NASB 2. Jesus Christ, this character was popular back at launch, and then he faded from obscurity months later. I would definitely consider him a B tier if it weren't for the fact that he's even stronger up close. Along with his great combos, mobility, and recovery, and he's not as easy to juggle as everyone else. But no one really plays him, so I can't really tell if he's like a top 5. Especially compared to other characters who are profoundly better than him. I really didn't thought he was good back at launch, but as time goes on, he's pretty good. Pretty annoying things to drill being able to invalidate the neutral and just being broken at the ledge if you read your opponent right. Monkey can be a bitch to go up against too. as it is really one of the most essential things to comboing with him. For right setups, you can even get to like 70% very easily with light down air too. Light up air is unnecessarily strong and it's a pretty good juggle tool. So just all around a pain in the ass. So if you want to annoy your friends, just pick him up. The only thing that he will struggle with, however, is range, as it is a pretty bad weakness with him. All traits, master at none. Not the only one, but we will describe her soon. Shit I've seen playing against SpongeBob really is baffling, to be honest. Lightning can carry you across the stage. There's not really a lot of ways to perfectly describe what I've seen with Bubble. Sunky have found all sorts of ways to optimize Bubble, whether by using it to edge guard, combo, or just overall apply pressure when you're blocking. SpongeBob for most of the part is pretty fine in most things, so out of all the placements in A, he's the one I can confidently say, yeah, he's here. Alright, hot take right now, but Oblina is overrated. She had some good combo games. She's hard to hit. Her goo setups are pretty annoying to go up against. Zombie Cancel can easily be one of the contenders for the best specials in the game, for how much pressure it can apply to you. No one plays this character. I have yet to see a good Oblina player who perfectly utilizes Zombie Cancels. It's also pretty light, her recovery is not that good, and she just doesn't have a lot of range. If any of the two Oblina players are willing to prove me wrong, then be my guest. Another hot take, in the form that Jenny is actually one of the most honest characters you can have in this game. But everyone just loves complaining about snaps for some reason. I guess I can't really blame them that much, since initially he had everything you would want out of this game. A long grab to start combos, a net that's really fast and can link into each other if you're good enough, a jab that can easily link into each other if you text the wrongs, decent recovery, and decent songs. What's really holding her back mainly just has to be kill power. A lot of her confirms are not exactly really consistent, and the only way to kill early is net, and that's hard to land thanks to how slow it is. But she's a pretty easy character to pick up, so why don't you give her a try if you have the chance. April was considered by many the best character in the game in the early stages of Nick All-Stars, but she got nerfed someday, and there are just far more broken characters than her nowadays. Doesn't mean she's bad though, as she has a lot of things that will make her a good character. Good mobility, good kill power, some decent range on some of her strongs. Long dash and strong there is a pretty cheesy ass combo, and her recovery is pretty good. A lot of her strongs can be blocked and punished. She is pretty light and her recovery is pretty predictable. But aside from that, you can go ahead and pick her up. She's pretty versatile and pretty strong. I was hesitant on putting him at the top of A tier, but after looking at April, I just kinda think that he's better by a short little margin. And by margin, I just think he is a pretty strong character. Pretty tricky to fight too, since he has one of the best up air chains in the game, as he can literally kill you at 18, or basically any percentage if you get hit by his up airs. He also has one of the best recoveries in the game in the form of teleport and sub air being able to stall his movement, so edge guarding him could be a pain in the ass. Zombie can just straight up kill you if you literally get into its large hitbox. The only thing that's really holding him back is range issues, but even then, I've seen Choco win so many times that I wouldn't be surprised if some people call him a top 3 character. Jesus Christ, I really hate fighting against Garfield, and that is because I am a Reptar main. In my opinion, I think Garfield just has one of the best, or if not the best, neutral in the game. Ice can serve all sorts of purposes, and if he reads you, you're literally dead if you're off stage. Lightner is completely unpunishable, and Lightner is so disjointed and is so long. His recovery is also pretty safe, so good luck reading him, or better yet even edge guarding him since it can be drifted. To me, he is definitely a top 5 character to me, with the only downside being that you need to DI ROM for him to kill you. But even then, he can just camp you out. So I think he is a very great anti-meta character. You know, Toph used to be one of the worst characters in the game, but with all the patches, safe to say it's pretty easy to forget that time. Despite her being a more ground-oriented character, she can do a lot of damage with her aerials. Boulder is one of the strongest kill moves in the game, and it is completely ungrabbable, and if you block it, you could get grabbed by her. And if you're a bitch, you can literally just platform camp someone. The character just changed that much. This character was so atrocious, and I found her so boring until I picked her up one day. It was then I really found her fun to play, solely because of how broken she is. A lot of her strongs just kill outright, and her light net is so long and disjointed. Best projectile in the game in my opinion. A good recovery if you're able to fast fall it. Rate 2 frames and just good tech chases or like things you could just get out of him. You can literally die so early when you play against her. All things considered, you could say she is a contender for one of the strongest characters in the game. Until you realize who the other three are. Compared to the last two, he is pretty tame, but if you compare to the roster, you can say that he plays a game of his own. Any move you get hit by is essentially an entryway to a touch of death combo thanks to Snap. In some matchups, the only counterplay to Nigel is to DI the right way or just mix up the DI so he won't see it coming. It can also be pretty hard to catch and kill thanks to Web, which is essentially an air dodge. Also light down air to mix up his landing options in case he's in the air. I think he really just struggles with stubby normals, but even then, what's the use of it if you're never gonna hit him, and he's just gonna hit you so many times and just die? Nigel is a pretty hard character, but then again, if you can execute his snap combos, my god can you move him. He is the most consistent character in terms of viability. The only reason why he was ever considered bad was because at the time, no one really played him. But now, everyone can just clearly see how broken this character is. He has the best juggle potential in the game. And in just one grab, he can just get you to 140. Even if you try not to get grabbed, down B and up B can just confirm into anything to get you killed. He also has the best recovery in the game in the form of a tether. This falls back to one character. If you want to know why she's broken, watch a VOD with Squibble in it. Players have utilized all of what Sandy can do with one move, and that is jab. It's safe on shield no matter how you block it. It carries you across the stage, and it can just kill you at any percentage, especially at 0, no matter the DI. Also is a really strong hit grab in that it's long range, and you can just literally spam it, and the only counterplay to it is to just stand there and block it. It's only scratching the surface on what Sandy could do, as her movements just coincide so perfectly with those moves. So just all in all, the best character in the game. My god. That was a handful. I was able to do the tier list, though, giving off a nice opinion of the meta. And hey, NASB 2 is on the horizon, so who knows who will be the best character in the game there. It's pretty balanced, all things considered. It's just that some people have more favorable things than others. I hope you do enjoy this video. I've been Goddess, I'm going to bed. Goodbye.